Strategy games hit different. They don't care how fast your reflexes are or if you can headshot some poor kid across the map. Here it's all about thinking 3 moves ahead, juggling chaos and surviving the slow burn of tension. We're diving into the best upcoming strategy games you need to know about. First up, we got Mars Tactics. It's turn-based, squad-focused, and it's got that XCOM DNA, but with a heavier focus on asymmetric warfare. You're pretty much rebelling against Earth and running guerrilla ops on Mars. Think resistance fighters hiding in ruined colonies, scrapping together whatever tech they can, fighting against this big oppressive regime. I love when a strategy game leans into desperation like that. XCOM was great, but you were always kind of the good guys with the toys. Here you feel like you're fighting uphill, and that stress is part of the fun. If the devs stick the landing, this could be one of those cult classics you would recommend to everyone who says they want something different in strategy.
Lay down roads to keep your people connected.
I'm looking forward to this next one. Anno 117 is such a good idea. Finally, a Roman Anno. Usually the series is all about the age of sail or industrial revolutions, but now we're in togas and aqueducts. What's neat about Anno is always how it blends the chill city building with this undercurrent of, okay, but your people need food, wine, entertainment, or they'll riot. The Roman setting makes total sense because it's an empire built on logistics. Roads, grain shipments, amphitheaters, it's all there. Honestly, I love how Anno always manages to feel cozy and stressful at the same time. I can already picture myself zooming in on some Roman villa while panicking because I forgot to build enough ovens. It's going to feel like Caesar III's cool modern cousin.
Be so fond of the pig farm stench.
A lot of people have been looking forward to this next game, and Dawn of War 4 is in that awkward spot where it has to win people back. The first 2 games are legendary. Relic basically nailed the Warhammer 40k battlefield feel. Dawn of War 1 was this massive base-building slugfest. Dawn of War 2 pivoted hard into squad tactics and RPG vibes. And then 3 just didn't stick the landing. Too many systems, weird balance, and it felt like it lost its soul. So the idea of a Dawn of War 4 is exciting, but also kind of scary. Do they go back to the chaos of big armies clashing or keep it tighter and more tactical? Personally, I'd love something closer to the first game with modern polish. Give me huge armies of orcs smashing into space marines, banners waving, the soundtrack blaring, something that feels heavy. If they capture that scale and brutality, fans are going to eat it up.
The war beneath the war. A war that's won with the
Star Wars Zero Company sounds like the kind of game we've been begging for since the old LucasArts days. It's squad tactics, but in the Clone Wars era. Immediately my brain goes back to Republic Commando, which nailed the vibe of being this elite clone squad. But this was an FPS. This looks more like tactical strategy, controlling your squad from above, moving them through battles with droids and separatists. If it's done right, it could feel like a mashup between XCOM and Star Wars, and honestly, that's a dream pitch. I'm curious how much personality they'll give the clones too, because Republic Commando's big strength was how those guys felt like brothers. Strategy games usually flatten characters into stats and cooldowns, but if they nail that bond, this could be special, and hey, it's been way too long since we've had a great Star Wars strategy game. Fingers crossed. Now let's quickly talk about instant gaming. The best way to get your games for less money than you would from retail. Whether it's new releases, bestsellers, or upcoming pre-orders, you'll find them at a discount for PC, PlayStation, and more. Unlike shady key marketplaces, instant gaming only sells keys from authorized resellers, so you're getting legit products at great prices. Plus, with a top Trustpilot rating and 24/7 customer support, you can buy with confidence. Personally, I've been using their service for a while, and always had a great experience. And that's why we're happy to partner with them. Check out Instant Gaming through the link in the description and start saving today. Our next game is Mewgenics. Edmund McMillan's been teasing this thing forever. It's like part tactical RPG, part bizarre cat breeding sim. Imagine Pokemon, but instead of majestic monsters, you're dealing with weird little gremlins with crooked legs and questionable genetics. It's got turn-based combat, but but half the fun is in how busted your cats can get. Like, you'll end up with a hairless monstrosity that one-shots enemies or some cowardly fluffball that hides in a corner. It's ridiculous, and that's the charm. Macmillan's game always leans into chaos. Binding of Isaac thrived on randomness, and this feels like it's carrying that torch, but in a strategy form. It's the kind of game where you don't go in to win, you go in to see what nonsense happens. Honestly, I love when a strategy game embraces unpredictability. Sometimes it's fun to stop worrying about perfect builds and just let the weird cats do their thing. Game of Thrones' War for Westeros is a tricky one. On paper, it's a perfect fit. This is literally a series about politics, alliances, and backstabbing. The idea of a proper strategy game in Westeros has been a dream since the show blew up. My worry is that so many licensed strategy games end up feeling shallow, like they're just using the name. But if this one really leans into the grit, forcing you to balance loyalty, betrayal, and brutal winters, it could work. I want it to feel like Crusader Kings with a Game of Thrones skin, not just Risk, but with dire wolves. Personally, I'd love the option to totally derail the story. Let the Starks conquer King's Landing, let Dany never leave Essos, stuff like that. If it's just a retelling of the same plot, it'll get boring fast. But if it lets players rewrite the history of Westeros, that could be magic. Chronicles Medieval looks like it's tapping into the Crusader Kings energy, but maybe with a more grounded focus. You're running dynasties, plotting marriages, stabbing your rivals in the back, basically living through the soap opera that was medieval politics. I love when strategy games lean into the human mess of history, instead of just the battles. Like in Total War, you get those cool sieges, but the drama is always off screen. Games like this put the spotlight on the scheming, the betrayals, the awkward, "Hey, my cousin wants to overthrow me." It's not as flashy as watching trebuchets level a castle, but it scratches a different itch. It makes you feel like you're steering a family through centuries, not just moving pawns on a board. If it finds that sweet spot between Crusader Kings' depth and something more accessible, this could be a sleeper hit for strategy nerds.
I shall find no peace.
Alright, our next game is Heroes of Might and Magic, Olden Era. Man, just saying that hits the nostalgia button. HOMM was one of those series where you sit down for one more turn and then it's 4 a.m. and you're still sending knights across the map to scoop up treasure. The magic of it always was that mix of overworld exploration and tactical grid battles, plus the ridiculous hero art that looks like it came straight off a 90s fantasy novel. If Olden Era can recapture that feeling, it'll be huge. Fans have been burned before with spin-offs and half-baked sequels, so the pressure's on. And if this one nails it, we might finally get that one more turn magic back.
On the floor lies a tome covered in blood, titled Top Ways to Conquer the Spire.
Slay the Spire 2 might be the easiest sequel pitch ever. Take one of the best roguelikes ever made, and make more of it. The first game basically invented the whole deck builder craze. Every run felt like you were building this weird Frankenstein of a deck, praying the RNG would bless you, and somehow it always hooked you into trying just one more run. The sequel's adding new heroes, new cards, new mechanics, but the real challenge is recapturing that lightning in a bottle. Personally, I don't even need it to reinvent itself. Give me the same core, but with more layers to experiment with, and I'm happy. I'm curious how they'll push progression too, because once you've beaten the first Spire a dozen times, you kinda want a new mountain to climb. If they nail that sense of discovery again, it's going to consume a lot of hours. Menace is interesting because it's coming from the devs of Battle Brothers, which is one of the most punishing but rewarding tactic games out there. Battle Brothers was all about managing a mercenary company in this grim medieval world, where half your recruits would die in the mud before ever seeing glory. Menace looks like the sci-fi evolution of that. Same DNA, but with space marines and aliens instead of peasants and brigands. That already has my attention. If it keeps the gritty, unforgiving vibe, it's going to stand out, because so many sci-fi tactic games lean into hero fantasy. This one looks like it'll chew you up if you make bad calls, and I kinda love that. There's something satisfying about a game that doesn't care if you win. It just dares you to survive. If you liked Battle Brothers, but wanted lasers and mechs, this could be it. Anvil Empires is shaping up to be a standout in the MMO strategy space. It offers large-scale, player-driven battles where thousands can clash in real time. Reminiscent of the scale found in games like Foxhole, the persistent world means your actions have lasting consequences, and the open-world sandbox allows for organic alliances and rivalries. The recent updates, including improved town layouts and environmental enhancements, show the developers' commitment to creating an immersive experience. While still in pre-alpha, the game's potential is evident, and it could become a go-to for players seeking a deep, community-driven strategy experience. Keep an eye on it. Anvil Empires might just redefine large-scale MMO strategy gaming. This next game's actually in early access, but it's pretty cool, so I thought I'd throw it in. 9-bit Armies A Bit Too Far is leaning into the chunky voxel look, kind of like if Command & Conquer had been built out of Lego. The name's funny because A Bit Too Far really sums it up. It's bigger maps, more factions, more chaos. I played 8-bit Armies back in the day, and it was this weird mix of simplicity and nostalgia. Like you didn't need to memorize 50 hotkeys. You just build tanks and smash them into the enemy. That's what made it fun. This new one seems like it's pushing things closer to the RTS classics. Bigger armies, more toys to play with, but hopefully without losing that breezy, sit down, blow stuff up, have fun vibe. Sometimes strategy games get too obsessed with micromanagement. This one just looks like it wants to party. Let's see how it plays out. Europa Universalis V is set to launch on November 4th, 2025, and it's already garnering attention for its ambitious scope. Beginning in 1337, the game allows players to guide a nation through centuries of history, emphasizing diplomacy, trade, and warfare. One notable feature is the automation system, enabling players to delegate aspects of governance, allowing for a more tailored strategic focus. The game's attention to detail, from the intricacies of the Holy Roman Empire to dynamic religious movements, promises a rich and immersive experience. For fans of grand strategy, Europa Universalis V aims to be both a return to form and a bold step forward in the genre. If you want to keep the momentum going, I've got another video right here that dives into some of the best strategy games you can play right now.